So I'm working in my chair garden today, and look at this. Eggs! Oh, so many tiny eggs. Oh, do you think it came out of this nest I just found on the ground? You could fit dozens in there. I don't think so. We know whose nest that was. Probably from last year. So I think I better get back into my chair garden, cover these up so these will hatch. And they'll be beneficial for my plants that will be growing food for us this year. Let's see what I'm doing. Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California, 10A. I am working in my chair garden, and I decided to come on really fast and show you because this is very exciting. I'm almost done. What I'm doing is I'm rebuilding the soil because I haven't done it. It would be 3 years now if I go ahead and plant in it. So I decided it's time to do it. So I'm almost done. I've got that one to do. I'm going to compost that Swiss chard, get the carrots out of there, and I've got these 2 left. But look at this. My soil I've been pulling out as alive. Do you see what this is? This is a earthworm eggs. I'll show you there's more, but this has been, oh, now they all went to the bottom. Just so full of life, the soil, because my soil is alive. I mean, literally, oh, here's more. They're hiding. They're trying to go underneath, and I don't blame them because we're probably going to be about 85 today. Look at the earthworms. Is that amazing? And I've been looking through there, which means I can't leave this. See? Earthworms everywhere. Let me show you something else. I got to be careful what I touch because I'm all muddy. Look at this. Let me see if I can get you in here. Can you see that? Right there, that's a cluster of earthworms. Now, eggs, earthworm eggs. This is very damp, and that's why I wanted to change it out because I didn't think it was draining that well. I'm going to take some of the roly-polies and set them free. I decided since I found the cluster of eggs, and there's so many eggs through here, I could leave them, continue to do what I'm doing. I'm going to push everything over. I've got my drain holes open. See, there's the drain holes. See them? And that's important. And I'm going to load in leaf matter and branches and stuff, and then take this soil and kind of gently push it over and put some of the soil back. That's how easy this is to work. See, I've got it over here. We can come over here for a minute. This is literally raw footage. This is going to go in as layering. I'm going to plant in that. But now I can take the leaf matter. This is stuff I just collected around the yard. I've been working and doing different things. I just set up my irrigation tubing, which is doing fantastic. And now I can just throw all that in there. This will change the soil up. See how I'm doing brown and green. Veggie rolls, that's going to give a place for the earthworms to hide in. You know what that is, unless you haven't seen my video. It's just toilet paper rolls that I stuff. And then I'm going to start pushing this soil over. There's still some branches left that didn't break down, but that's why there's so much life in here. That's why everything I move is loaded with earthworms, because the soil has food for them. Once everything is broke down and it looks like a bag of soil you bought from the store, you don't have anything because they ate it all. What are they going to sit? I mean, you're going to go in a restaurant and sit there and they'll say, well, we ran out of food, but we'll have some maybe next year. You're going to sit and wait for them to get their food? No. Well, that's what the earthworms do. Once everything is not there for them, they leave. This particular tote was fantastic because not everything broke up. There's occasional eggshells there. There's still some branches and leaves in there, so they're still here. And we want to gently cover those eggs and not hurt them because they're going to be hatching soon, and they're just going to add so much nutrients in this container. So I'm going to top this up like I usually do. I did all these. I've got a tomato in there. I've got celery in a pot, which I'm going to move because I don't want the celery to grow in here because it has such a massive root system, it will not work. If I plant the celery in here, I will lose my squash, and that's a golden squash. So I have to be mindful of what I'm going to put in there. Now I could put beans in there, but you wouldn't want to put a tomato together with a, let's say, a squash because they're both very heavy feeders. So I hear the hawk. So I have to be very mindful on that. You wouldn't even want to put a Swiss chard in with, let's say, squash or peppers or, tomatoes, because they too get a massive root system. You think not? Let's see if we can see in here. See this great big thing? This is in this pot. Look at this. This is growing all this in a small pot. It left and it took over the tote. So you really have to think about what you're putting in with your plants. If you overload them, you'll end up with nothing. And what you'll end up with is, for the first month, they'll look beautiful. You'll go back and, well, they won't produce. You won't get the production you're supposed to get. So I thought this would be fun to show you. I'm going to put this in a pot. I took that out of the tote. This is just some garlic chives. They get a pretty big root system too. So what I'm going to do is layer this, put it in some sort of pot, and then put it back into, the tote on top. This way, what happens here, and keep this in mind, especially if you're in a dry area, when you water this, let's say you water this and this dries out, the surface dries out. But when you water this, there's so much water that it's going to be slowly leaking in there, because that has to have holes. And it's going to constantly give your squash or your plants that are growing in your tote or whatever container you're using water. That's why I love layering. Layering is important. Just don't put something in the layering that's going to be too big that will take over, because then you'll lose out on the plant you're really trying to grow. Celery is too much, but I'll keep an eye on it, and then I may move it. I might even plant it in the ground, or maybe I'll take the whole container and put it on the ground like I've got here, and do other things. I could do Swiss chard, but like I said, look at this. Keep an eye on it. I don't want to pull too much. I want to cut this out. But look at how big this is and how it has gone into the tote and just wiped out whatever was in there before. So think about companion planting as you're starting to plant your garden up, because that is very important. Not so much as one helping the other, but what you'll be doing is planting something that is going to be able to grow with whatever you're actually excited to grow. But the point is, you don't want it to take over and destroy the plant that you really want to grow. Right now, my big thing is different types of squash. Summer squash, zucchini, golden zucchini, things like that. Cocozella is in here. I love those. I'm going to freeze them and have them for next winter, because I ran out and I did not have enough frozen. And I love my squash because it goes into everything. We'll talk about that also another time. So keep that in mind. Think about what you want to plant in there, and don't do something that's going to take too much room. Walking onions, that's a perfect, as you want to call, companion plant, because this isn't going to grow a massive root system in here. So I'll probably end up layering all these with walking onions and moving the celery onto the ground, so it won't be bothering anybody, and have more walking onions all the way around in all these containers. If I want to layer, you can layer with anything. I'm actually going to layer with milk cartons as well. Milk cartons, you cut the top off and you got a nice tall container, and I can grow some walking onions that way. And then I can get this whole thing going. I'm going to be doing all kinds of trellising. Isn't that gorgeous? Look how stable that is. That is so cool. This is just gorgeous. I can use this now on a hot summer day to cover it. I can put fabric over it to give my plant some shade. I could put tulle over it if I had a brassica in there, and let's say I was worried about the cabbage moths or something. I could do whatever I want with that, and it's just up and ready to go. This is really cool. This was from last year. All right, so I thought I wanted to come in, say hello, and I'm going back to work in the mud, enjoying myself on a beautiful, beautiful, hot, sunny day in spring. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. I figured I'd come back for a minute and say, I'm hot, and I'm sweaty, and I'm loving it, because I love the heat. Anyways, I'm done. Now it's a matter of planting, and we'll get more into details on why certain things are this way. Why are these like this? Why is that like this? I love it. This is exactly what I wanted. I can't believe it's all done. I can get my watermelon planted, and I can get more containers around the bottom. I'm going to have geraniums and celery down there. I think there's some garlic chives down. I don't know. I am so tired. I've been out here for a couple hours, and I am just jazzed that this is done. You have something for me? I'm so tired. I've been working. Oh, you brought me flowers. You see, a little dry, but after a while they'll make good compost. Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
They're nasturtiums he picked from up there. Another thing I want to point out, if you're using old soil and you know that you've got roly-polies and critters roaming around there and you're going to start planting seedlings, throw some leaves, whatever you've got, because the roly-polies will go to that before they'll even go to a live plant that you planted. And this way your plants will be okay and they won't touch your new plants. They'll go to the rotting leaves because that's actually what they want first.